the tech giants thought that they could censor and deplatform and shadow ban all of us and that no one would notice because they do it using covert algorithms. And they're doing it for a purpose that I outline in the report, which turned out to balloon to 59 pages, by the way. But you're free to print it and share it and post it. And Paul Joseph Watson did a really great story covering it as well. But they're doing this because, number one, they want to create an internet where there's only one allowable opinion on any given topic, and that official opinion is determined by radical left-wing ideology, which is always a moving target. No one can possibly keep up with it. They redefine it daily. And so it's basically insanity. It's a call for online insanity echo chambers where no one is allowed to dissent on any topic whatsoever, from climate change to politics to gender to finance to history, all of these topics and much more. We are looking at a nuclear apocalypse of censorship if we don't stop this right now.
There is a tide in the affairs of men when taken at the flood leads on to fortune. That's, of course, a famous line written off of the documented words of Julius Caesar. Well, our fortune is freedom and productivity in our time. And this is not a mission impossible. It is a mission objective that is 100% absolutely in our grasp. But you, no matter what color you are or what gender you are or where you came from, if you believe in internet freedom, and that means access to the marketplace of ideas, commerce, you name it, if you're against the communist Chinese plan of a global social score now being adopted by Apple and others for total control of everything you do in your life, well, then this mission is for you if you should choose to accept it. Mike Adams is on fire. Paul Watson wrote a 6-page boil-down report that also links to his report that's on Infowars.com. But the 50-plus page report, the censorship master plan decoded, is from the enemy's own arrogant statements. But no one had collated this together or produced a battle plan, just like Congress doesn't read the bills. If folks read the articles on Infowars.com and retweet them and Facebook them and hand share them, and get them to Congress for the hearings they're having tomorrow, this will change the world, because no one did this. People say, well, why didn't we have airplanes earlier? Well, the Wright brothers didn't come along. Why didn't we have radio earlier? Well, Marconi didn't come along. This is their own arrogant admissions. They think we're stupid. They've bought off the so-called free speech watchdogs, ACLU, Electronic Frontier Foundation. So we're having to do it, and Mike Adams, an engineer, software designer, best-selling author, he knows what's going on. He writes all these great articles. I said, why don't you put together the whole decode of this, of what's happening and how to strike back against it? So got a lot of big news, obviously. John Brennan, who's a total traitor to this country, converted to Wahhabism, been caught lying to Congress, says Trump press conference, an impeachable offense, treasonous to even meet with the Russians and talk about working together, even though Trump's squeezing Russia. Incredible. That's all coming up. We've got highlights of it. The Awan brothers, it's all coming out, Hillary server. But right now, emergency report, the censorship master plan, emergency big tech's plot to kill free speech revealed. We all know as libertarians, as nationalists, as conservatives, as natural health advocates, or real anti-war liberals, we all know free thinkers, organizations, groups the globalists don't like that challenge their system. We all know of all the diverse groups out there that we've been censored, we've been blocked, and it's gotten exponentially worse. Well, now they've come out and jumped the shark last week, and in big public symposiums admitted we're going to shut down Infowars and everybody else. So it's all there, and Mike Adams has collated it into this report that you can forward, that you can send to talk show hosts, that you can ring the alarm. This is it. We have their Death Star plans. Mike Adams, congratulations on your great work. Paul Watson, I want to thank him as well, and the whole crew here. I don't normally hype things up. You know, we broke the Bourdain thing, as I had sources inside that said he had a Kanye West moment, was saying he wanted to basically kill Harvey Weinstein, was going to expose Bill Clinton as a rapist, and now that's come out mainstream news today. And I'm told even more is about to come out, including video, so people better watch out. But I tell you, this is so huge. try to encapsulate for people why this is so important. Because, again, no one understands the attack plan. It's so complex, people throw their hands up. You have, from their own admissions, diagrammed it all.
Well, primarily, Alex, and thanks for having me on, the tech giants thought that they could censor and deplatform and shadow ban all of us and that no one would notice because they do it using covert algorithms. And they're doing it for a purpose that I outline in the report, which turned out to balloon to 59 pages, by the way. But, you know, you're free to print it and share it and post it. And Paul Joseph Watson did a really great story covering it as well. But they're doing this because, number one, they want to create an internet where there's only one allowable opinion on any given topic, and that official opinion is determined by radical left-wing ideology, which is always a moving target. No one can possibly keep up with it. They redefine it daily. And so it's basically insanity. It's a call for online insanity echo chambers where no one is allowed to dissent on any topic whatsoever, from climate change to politics to gender to finance to history, all of these topics and much more. We are looking at a nuclear apocalypse of censorship if we don't stop this right now. And that's why we have to have these legislative and regulatory actions. I've outlined 13 of them in the report that the legislators and regulators could use as a starting point to brainstorm action, to take action. You've either got to indict these CEOs of Facebook for racketeering, or you got to reel in the censorship. You've got to make them expose their algorithms, for example. You have to have appeals methods, a due process system in place for people who have been banned. Or maybe you write a law that says that people who have been banned can sue Google and sue YouTube and sue Facebook for punitive damages as well as actual damages. This is a blueprint. This document destroys the entire justification, the hate speech nonsense, the fake news nonsense. It destroys it with an academic language approach. I don't know if you've had a chance to read even a few paragraphs.
I have.
Alex,
it's excellent. It's designed for Congress and the lawyers to show them that they're creating prior restraint, chilling effect, a giant re-education camp online, where if you promote whatever their latest garbage is, you get promoted, which is a form of digital payoff, digital currency. Everyone else is shunted and controlled. This is just unprecedented, this technotronic takeover.
It actually is the crushing of the human soul. And they've lost control of the narrative, Alex. CNN is panicked because they know that if you were allowed to compete in the marketplace of free ideas, you would crush CNN. I mean, you're crushing them anyway in terms of audience, but CNN would be obsolete overnight. They are panicked. They have to call for destroying you and your network because they can't compete with your ideas. They can't compete with your news reporting staff. And I outline all this in the report, fact by fact, paragraph by paragraph, with citations, with examples, irrefutable logic on many levels. This is a blueprint for how we fight back and stop the techno dictatorship that's trying to destroy our country.
And listen, we don't want to be the only ones doing this. It actually scares us. When I talked to Mike last week, I said, you're an engineer, you're a well-known tech writer, you've got hundreds of websites, you're just as successful as Infowar, just under the radar. I said, I don't know how to try to put this together. High-level folks need it. And I was so upset that they say no one's done a report, no one's collated their own admissions. Well, we've done it now. This is quotes and admissions and exhibits of the crimes they've committed against our republic and our free speech in a public conspiracy against free will and free association. This is the true civil rights, human rights fight of the century. I can't believe we're right in the middle of it, Mike.
Yeah, and you know what? You look at the writing of Paul Joseph Watson or even this report. I know we're going to break, but we know what we're talking about because we have been attacked. We have had to defend ourselves. We have had to build systems to defend against these assaults, so we intimately know how the censorship works.
That's right. It's been going on forever. It's just now, it's 100 times worse. Exactly. We are experts because we have experienced it.
We do. Exactly.
Man. Mike Adams is on fire.
Lines every day.
We're going to come right back with Mike Adams. This is so critical. This is the First Amendment, folks. There's so much entertainment, so much news out there, but what you're hearing is the only detailed scientific report from their own admissions of the plan to end free speech, not just here, but worldwide, now being executed against anybody who's nationalist or capitalist ahead of the 2018 election and beyond. Mike Adams of naturalnews.com is an engineer, an expert. He and Paul Watson both have reports out today. Paul has a boiled-down report on his report. They're at naturalnews.com, Infowars.com. And I know all of you already know this. Our listeners are like, yeah, Alex, we know they're censoring everybody. We know it's bad. Congress doesn't understand it. The president understands it's going on, but doesn't even know his Twitter pushes. Most of his Twitter users don't even get it sent to him. So Facebook said last week, look, we already banned Alex Jones from sharing info. If we kick his page off, he can sue us. Just don't, we already banned him, CNN. Stop. New York Times, Washington Post, thousands of publications. But they're making their big push. So there's this big fight. Mike Adams, I want to get back into your report. It's on Infowars.com, the censorship master plan decoded. Again, I liken it to a Star Wars analogy, episode 4. These are Death Star plans. These are valuable. But see, the globalists just think you're idiots and then just, oh, that's just no big deal. You know, you think it's a little piece of gold foil sitting there on the side of the road. It's a big old gold coin. This is critical. This is their battle plan. This is how to show what they're doing and then expose them and defeat them. It's on Infowars.com right now. Get it, tweet it, Facebook it, share it, print off copies, call Congress, email it to Congress. Everyone hammer them that they've got hearings tomorrow legitimizing this. Mike, what do you think's going on in the intramural battles of the big corporate dying dinosaur media that's very jealous of Facebook, YouTube, and Google because they still get force-fed to everybody, but they don't. That's not enough. They want us completely banned because they admit in these reports that, well, other people create subsites. They still share it. It goes viral other places. They want that desire of legitimizing the complete ban, first in cyberspace and then physically. But what do you think, because you're a smart guy, is going on in the public debate? Is it about legitimizing censorship or is it just panicking? Where are they going?
Well, they are panicked. I call them media monopolists, and they've come to the realization that without the artificial algorithmic boosting of their visibility by Facebook, Google, and others, they would already be obsolete. The independent media is really the decentralization of information and news analysis. It's giving power back to the people. Decentralization is good for society. Centralized news or monopolized news is New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, and you know they're handed scripts every day of what to say, what to report, and what to avoid reporting. That model is obsolete. The people don't want to be spoon-fed false narratives every day by different faces spouting the exact same words over and over again. People want a diversity of ideas, a diversity of analysis. People understand, in fact, that there are different points of view in the world, and they'd like to actually eat from that ideological buffet.
And they're trying to define different points of view as fake news.
That's right.
And then deplatform it, and you're right. They are hanging on.
And they're absolutely panicked. And remember that the central assertion of these media monopolists is that they alone have a unique divine right or a divine ability to discern reality without bias or distortion, and that no one in the independent media, they claim, has any such capability and can't even obtain such a capability. In other words, they think they are gods or that they are in touch with actual gods, even though they hate religion and they hate Christians. Their mythology, their dogma is that they are the gods of truth and that anyone who disagrees with them is by default fake news. So that's the dark corner of the media that we have now crept into, and we're exposing it every day. That's what this report is about, and that's why Infowars, not just survival, but thriving and expanding, is so crucial to the freedom to think in our society. Remember, they're trying to crush your freedom to think, not just your freedom to share a link or your freedom to express your voice, but your very freedom to think for yourself. That is what is under assault, because the media monopolists, in order for them to maintain control over society and influence the outcomes of elections, they must be able to inject and insert thoughts, ideas, cultural narratives, and belief systems into the minds of the masses, Alex.
And let's bring this up, because you're a smart businessman, not just an engineer and all the things you've done. The Streisand effect, the arrogance of Stelter saying ban Infowars, Como saying ban Infowars, them having conferences, they are so crazy that historically you say something's banned, you push it right to the avant-garde. And so it's why do you think they've chosen Infowars? And then let's go into the section in here when you talk about the way to counter this, because that's the most important part. We need Congress to know, hey, read the report now. Here's what you do. We have all the cards, as President Trump says, but this is one of the few areas where he fights with them instead of understanding. They've hijacked utilities. They have engaged in classical racketeering. They must be, I mean, to have CNN calling, because when you read the reports out of even the New York Times, they want everyone banned. All, quote, conspiracy theories. When CNN says to fact checkers, we don't like what they're saying, that Hillary, has bad health problems or whatever, or the Federal Reserve's private, they want the power to ban that. That is so draconian. They're clearly villains. So how are they risking jumping the shark like this?
Well, they specifically target you, and I outlined some of this in the report, because your delivery style, which is aggressive, which is asking big questions, kind of shaking people awake out of a slumber, almost like people are in almost a hypnotic type of slumber where they're subjected to this IV drip.
Infowar is the opposite of NPR. It's more like an annoying alarm clock.
Exactly. And NPR, I'm glad you mentioned that, because it is lulling people to sleep. You got to understand that controlling people's thoughts and ideas requires a continuous CNN fake news, disinfo stream. It has to be uninterrupted. And you, Alex Jones, are the interrupter of that toxic stream of disinformation that CNN is trying to drip into the minds of people. You are the primary interrupter. I actually call you that in the report. You're the interrupter of the false paradigm that's being shoved into the minds of the masses. And that is key, because they don't go after independent media outlets that are, more subdued or more stylistically like the mainstream media. They're going after you because you're the guy who walks into the room of people being, lulled to sleep, and, you rip off the covers and you throw ice on them and you say, wake up, look what's happening here. Welcome to reality. That's what you do, and you're the best at it, and that's why they're trying to take you down.
Well, all I know is they do want people hypnotically into a lull, be lazy, be dumb, and I'm running around raising an alarm bell. I'm just like Paul Revere. And they've also censored you massively as well, and it's a real badge of honor that's happened. It's not about tooting horns, folks. It's about what are they most afraid of that lets you know what is most effective.
And they've turned us into warriors, Alex. I mean, think about this. We are stronger and more determined and more passionate and even really more informed today because of all the attacks on us. I mean, think about how you and I and Paul Watson and others—
the attacks totally motivate us.
Absolutely. They've turned us into warriors. They've given us the spirit of the founding fathers, the revolutionary spirit to take back our nation and our freedom of speech. We are stronger today because of it, and that's why we will win.
Stay there, my friend. I want to get your analysis of the whole Trump-Putin meeting with Owen Schroyer coming in and more on this report. Listen, I'm not even plugging buy-products today because I'm so obsessed with this. Infowarstore.com. Please support us. We got big sales going, or we won't be here. The enemy is really trying to take us down, and we're glad because it means we're effective. But it's just so critical to realize without you spreading the word or sharing the links, we're nothing. Only you can override their censorship and control. All right, we got a long way to go and a short time to get there, but I was literally during the 4-minute break thinking, and then I came back and sat down, and Mike Adams via Skype, the health ranger, started saying the exact same thing I was thinking when I was in the bathroom combing my hair and flossing my teeth because I just had a hamburger. And it was like when I was on the plane years ago flying to the View in New York, and one of the heads of one of the big banks was on board. He said, Alex, you don't get it. You think people will adapt and overcome tyranny. They will submit to tyranny. And I was going to come back and say that. And Mike said, they don't, during the break, he goes, they don't think we're fighters. They think we're going to lay down. They're just in control of things because people have handed over responsibility and aren't conscious and just submit. And that's exactly what I was about to say. When you understand that fighting back and being involved is animating and makes you stronger, and it's the only hope you've got, plus you always have victory if you take action, not at first, but down the road, because it creates these wavelengths, these ripples in the pond, culturally, spiritually, economically, that are unstoppable with the whole human momentum of our ancestors that were such winners. They've just diverted us off this little loser area. We're winners. We're an incredible species with unlimited potential. And if you get animated and get upset and then take action with the information, you're unstoppable. It's like Mike said, they turned us into warriors. I don't sit here when I get attacked or get blocked or whatever and go, oh, my God, poor me. But see, the globalists, they all sell out to power for whatever's easiest. They're a collection of weenies and sellouts and weaklings. But we, as trailblazers, rugged individuals, only get stronger in the animating contest of liberty. Mike?
Well, think about it. If you're parents and you have two kids, and one kid, you just give them everything, bonus points. They don't have to earn anything. There's no merit to their behavior. They get everything. But then the other kid, you make them earn everything. Which kid is going to be stronger? And it's the same thing is happening in media. We, in the independent media, we have to not just earn everything that we're getting, we have to work twice as hard, 3 times as hard as the media monopolists, because we are being artificially penalized. So we have become, in essence, just from a pragmatic point of view,
the modern Spartans.
Maybe. Right. I mean, guerrilla information marketing, things like that. I mean, we know how to get the word out, and we don't depend on these mainstream systems because those systems have been penalizing us for so long. We've had to find workarounds. Now, if they would stop censoring us, we would be 100 times bigger, almost immediately, because there is an effect.
And by the way, I know your numbers, I know mine. That's actually true.
I know. It is true. Millions of followers I have on Facebook. You have, tens of millions across.
And they won't even let you hit any of them.
That's exactly right.
You built them. You got them to go there. You advertised with your huge platform and built it, and then they steal it, and then won't even let you have access to it, but then let the left be force-fed. I want to get to some of these clips. Owen, you want to comment?
Well, yeah, just to talk about real quick what you're saying about the animating contest of liberty, just to kind of give a physical representation or manifestation of that. Imagine a land, whatever you choose, all historically just a bunch of slaves working in the fields or on the pyramids or whatever you want to say, and they all know they're slaves and oppressed, but they just kind of do it, and that's all they know. And even though they think they need to rebel, they don't see it, so they just kind of go along. But then, as soon as they see one person attacking the slave master, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, boom, all of a sudden everyone's attacking, and it's like, bam, kick into gear, fight, take them down, get your freedom back. That's the engagement. That's the clicking. That's what you're doing.
And think about it. Most of your mainline conservatives and people know their censorship, so they all pay their pound of flesh and attack me or say whatever and then get promoted and go, oh, look, I got promoted. But you're promoting crap. It's empty. So you just parroted what they wanted? That wasn't you. You just lost your soul. One person we reach through their barricade of lies is worth more than 1 million zombies. We're not trying to win in their paradigm.
Just like China has a social scoring system, there is a de facto system in place in America today where if you attack Alex Jones, you're going to get moved up in the media. But if you go along with anything that Infowar says, then you're going to be penalized. It's not an official scoring system, but it's an unofficial covert scoring system, and it is in place, and it is modeled after China.
And that's the most key thing that's been said today. You get into how they're outsourcing in your report on page 46, the censorship. Foreign countries, the Chinese government just banned, I mean, I know your wife's Taiwanese, the emoji of Taiwan for all Apple users globally was banned, and it would crash your phone if you used it. I mean, the level of control is unbelievable.
Yes, and they claim they have no responsibility because they're outsourcing the censorship to these radical left-wing groups like the SPLC, which has been widely discredited.
So where are the civil rights lawsuits? Where are the racketeering suits? Where are the Human Rights Commission meetings? Where are the censorship hearings? Where are the monopoly hearings? This is cut and dry. Tim Cook and Apple don't just have slave factories now. They officially moved 5 months ago to China and now let them control in America what emoji you can send. My God, America, what are you going to put up with next?
And if this censorship had been targeting leftists, the ACLU would be screaming bloody murder right now. The EFF would be all over it. There would be protests nationwide. There would be mobs of people protesting the Facebook buildings and campi and headquarters all across the country if leftists were being censored. But because it's conservatives being censored, the left is perfectly okay with it, because what they want, an authoritarian society where they control the only allowable opinion that can be spoken or shared in any online forum. That is an Orwellian, authoritarian, tyrannical dictatorship. And that's what they want, so they can open the borders without dissent, so they can take your guns without anybody being able to complain online or share a complaint, so they can get rid of Trump and bring in whoever they want without anyone being able to express outrage.
Even more, Mike Adams, just everything he said, I keep saying that's the most important, until he trumps it with something more important. They're launching this super risky mass censorship program that was in beta to now maximum, 90+% of conservatives being banned. It was 80% last week, because they're getting ready to make their move. civil war. They already call it a civil war. I go, hey, look, they say we're in a civil war. Oh, Jones claims we're in a civil war. They're the ones saying it. Rob Reiner, Bill Maher, Michael Moore. I want to play some of these clips, but again, they think their audience is so dumb. They go, we're in a civil war. Time to start overthrowing. I go, well, look, they say we're in a civil war. Jones is crazy. Ban him. He says there's a civil war.
Well, the Civil War has already begun in the online realm, and it's the left.
And now Uber has a list of conservatives and won't give you rides.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like China won't let you fly if you have a bad social score.
Remember, the first chapter of every kinetic war is the Infowar, as you well know. That's the name of your operation. The information war is happening online. It is the opening chapter of the Civil War, and they want to take it kinetic.
So this signifies this is like enemy armies. This is like enemy armies building up on your border.
That's right.
I mean, they're here. It's on, Owen.
Well, and again, what do they do to the slave that steps out and shows the rest of the slaves, hey, you don't have to be a slave. Stand up for yourself. What do they do to that?
They flog him.
Exactly. That's what they're doing to you, Alex. That's what they're doing to Infowars. We're the ones awakening the mind slaves.
I'm sorry. It's true, and I'm glad to do it. I'm not bitching. I'm not a victim. But they got us strapped up with cat o' nine tails. And I don't care if I don't care what they do. They've attacked Mike, and we're not bitching. We're saying we are over the target. Our bombers are getting the main flag. We are dropping bombs on the enemy. If you want to be part of the war, join us, spread the links, get involved, buy our products, call Congress, send this report to everyone. We are fighting for the country. This is the 21st century war. This is not a drill. It's not a game. It's not a joke. Behind the scenes, they've got intelligence ops, they've got PIs, they've got stuff. Folks, if I told you, you wouldn't believe it, but I'm not going to give them the time of day talking about it. It has been, for 4 years, total war. And the last year, it's intensified massively, and I'm not complaining. I asked for this, but I'm just telling you, this is total war. This isn't entertainment. This isn't Netflix. Mike Adams.
And they've driven us, Alex, to the point where, in terms of online presence, we have nothing left to lose. Think about that. It's not like we want to appease Google or appease Facebook. They practically censored us to the point of oblivion anyway, with downranking algorithms, punishment, shadow banning, all these things. We have nothing left to lose in the online world. You either stand up and fight, or you become completely obsolete.
And a lot of folks, they think our listeners will go, well, I better not promote Natural News or Infowars because I'll get restricted or banned. You're going to lose it all anyways. And again, let's explain.
Exactly.
On the internet, we are as big as ever with real fans, real people. We're just telling you now they want us totally banned, not just on big platforms, but they're physically suing us. They're trying to sabotage us. They're trying to infiltrate us. We've got Hillary's law firms contacting anybody that ever worked here, offering them money to lie about us. This is total war, people. A lot of folks go, well, you're dumb to fight them. No, you're dumb to roll over. You're not Americans. I'm talking to the minority of folks that listen. If you don't understand how critical this is, shame on you.
And really, you got to ask people, do you want to wake up in a society where you can't even share a link or utter a sentence online unless you first check to see, is that the officially allowed sentence for today? And is it different from yesterday's opinion?
And then you're rewarded for being a parrot.
That's right. That's right. Because they want the internet to be an authoritarian echo chamber of bad ideas. Liberal ideas are bad ideas. They don't work. And that's why we must defeat them.
We'll be back in 2 minutes. I got to get to these clips. There's so many epic clips. We got like 7 or 8 of them. And Mark Dice, we had him set up a week ago talking about internet censorship. That's what he wanted to come on about. And of course, we're right here in the middle of it. Mike Adams is our guest, Infowars.com. Get his report, get it out, or Soros wins. Extendowise, the latest product from InfoWarsLife.com, fuses all the known compounds that have been proven to be good for our hearts and cardiovascular system. And listen, everybody's got a heart. Well, actually, maybe Hillary and George Soros don't, but everybody else has a heart, and this product is amazing. So if you have a heart and you want the very best product out there that's designed to aid a healthy heart and cardiovascular system, it's Extendowise, available at InfoWarsLife.com. And like all of our products are game changers, this baby is the most souped up, awesome version the top formulators could come up with and still be affordable. It's one of the very best heart pills out there. It's Extendowise. So get some for yourself and family and friends. It's got the very best fish oil from the fjords. It's very, very pure, very, very clean, and has the EPA type that is specifically good for the heart, cardiovascular system. It's got the properly formulated type of CoQ10 and more. It is Extendowise, now available at InfoWarsLife.com.